It's Christmas at Ground Zero, and the button has been pressed. The radio lets us know that this is not a test. Oh, wait a minute. Hi. Wow, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. There might have been a small nuclear explosion here. Yeah, no, that wasn't good. Oh, how am I doing? I'm doing fine. A little bit irradiated, but other than that, okay. That's what happens when you're a mad scientist in the forest with a nuclear reactor. Sometimes things go wrong, and kablooey! Everything goes up. But anyways, my nuclear meltdown issues aside, we are going to be doing a video today. And it's going to be on an Ethonian tin factory, since he is the person that inspired this project. So let's go ahead and cue the music and get started. So you can probably guess, judging by the fact that I'm currently standing in a nuclear crater. Yeah, that was destructive. We are in Feed the Beast, and this is something I've recently gotten into after seeing Generic B and BOO playing in it originally, and I've been really excited to see what Etho's been working on, because, as you know, he's, a madman when it comes to creating new stuff in this game. So, recently he's been working on a tin factory, and so I've been kind of replicating my own interpretation of that up here. Now, after watching his video, I had some ideas about how to do this that may be a little bit different from his. And specifically, after crunching some numbers and all, I've come up with what I think is a huge improvement in terms of operating efficiency for that kind of reactor. Or reactor. I've just got nuclear stuff on the brain today. For that kind of mechanism. So, what we're going to do today is look at some of the things that I did differently. And before we start that, though, we need to first look at a clip of his, because it kind of it pertains to the overall efficiencies improvements that I'm talking about. So let's go to that real quickly.
I also looked at these cans here. They're cheaper to make, and you get more, but you get less tin from the operation. So it works out the same, so it doesn't matter which can we use. It's still going to be an 8 to 10 gain.
Alright, so in that, you can see that when you look up lava cells and lava cans, you can see that they both produce, let's see, you have to hit U, I do believe. Oh, come on. Still getting used to this interface. They both produce an excess of 8 tin, because it takes 16 tin to produce an extra 8. And with this, it produces... Oh, hit U again. It produces 40, but it takes 32 tins. 32 tin, which is what Etho said, and it's very true. However, if you start to look at the numbers, you can really start to see a difference in using lava cells and lava cans. So, real quickly, we're going to go look at those. I know they're boring. I'm sorry. I hate to do numbers and all that stuff, because I know it's not the most entertaining thing, but it really helps you to understand exactly where these inefficiencies are coming from in an Ethonian type system. So let's real quickly look at that, and then we'll get back and start actually looking at some of the fun stuff. To really understand what's going on here, we have to start looking at the numbers, or as Badge would say, the maths, because that seems to be a British thing. So, right here, I've generated a couple of text files to kind of go through what all is required for a tin factory to work. And here we have, of course, empty cell production. So to produce 8 empty cells, it requires 4 tin. In other words, 1 tin is equal to 2 empty cells, which of course means it's 32 tin to create 64 empty cells, which of course produces 40 tin. Very elementary. Now, you get a little bit more complicated when you start looking at the energy consumed, because you have to start worrying about, like, it takes 4,000 MJ to convert netherrack to 1,000, I think it's Minecraft buckets of lava, or it's maybe micro buckets since it's a minor M. But, bottom line, I think this math is correct as far as the energy usage. It basically takes nearly 1.3 million EU to produce, to complete a tin production cycle. Now, the output of that is from 64, that's supposed to be empty cells. I didn't convert it over, but ignore that. You get 40 tin, 4 gold, 1 wolframium cell, and 32 pyrite dust, and that converts out to 0.66 sulfur, 3.3 iron dust, or bars per a 1 piece of pyrite dust, and for 32 you get 21 sulfur, 10.6 iron dust or bar. Of course, there's an energy conversion there, but we're not going to worry about that. The bottom line here is the total individual tin production for this cycle is 1 tin plus about 40,000 EU equals 1.25 tin, 0.125 gold, 1 pyrite dust, which of course equates out to what you can see here. Now, here's the thing, though. If you take 32 tin to produce essentially 8 excess tin. So you have to remove that 32, because that isn't really a production. That's actually, you're just getting it back. So the real tin production is 1 tin plus 40,000 EU equals 0.25 tin, 0.125 gold, 1 pyrite dust, etc. Now, what's kind of cool about this is with the empty can production, it of course takes 3 tin to produce 12 cans, which equals 1 tin equals 4 cans. So you can see here it's double. And because the output of both of these cycles both produces 8 tin and the same amount of gold and wolframium and pyrite dust, you get 0.5 tin, 0.25 gold, 2 pyrite dust, which essentially means you are doubling your production. So, in the end, what does this mean for, like, a real-world tin factory? Well, to kind of show you that, I'm going to show you mine. So, we're going to go up here and try not to fall through any of the holes that my wonderful nuclear explosion created. And we're going to look at my tin factory. So, the general layout is very similar to Etho's in the sense that we have all of our centrifuges here, and we have our liquid transposer here, and then our magma crucibles there. Now, I did, when I did this, I did want to do kind of like the gauges like he did, because I really liked that style, but couldn't get to work, so I kind of just have these here for display purposes. Now here you can see I've got sensor arrays set up for all of my MFE and backbox storage that supply energy to this little facility. And you can see here they're all at 100%. And you can see the output of both our hydro array and our solar array. And my solar array is up there, and my hydro array is actually beneath the floor here in my, and there's a squid. Hi, Mr. Squid. Beneath the floor in my storage room, which it's still work in progress, but I like it. It's all automated, of course. This is something I've been spending a lot of time working on. As you can see, all the pipes go up there. And here's the one beneath the floor was not powerful enough when I initially started the system. I was hoping it would be, but it's not. So I had to add on a little bit more of an energy facility down here. And you can see all of my... as I fall into a hole, I need to fix that. Arg. Alrighty, let's try not to fall into the hole this time. But you can see here, like, my MFEs are there. Now, one thing that I did with this system is I added in these, which are average energy or average counters. And they will do over a 5-second, 10-second, or 3-second, or 1-second period. They will basically measure the output. Now, if anyone's ever taken an electrical engineering course or like a basic electronics course, these are very much like resistors in how they measure things. So they have to be under load for you to be able to measure. So like with these, you can see they're all full. So that's why we're only showing like 7 EU. That's basically, I think, probably the energy being consumed by lights and other systems like that. So let's go up here and we will actually start the 10 factory, and you can kind of see what the energy output is like. Now you can obviously see in the mini-map in the upper right corner that, oh come on, make that jump, that it is night, so my solar array output is going to be relatively minimal due to that fact. But that's okay, because we have a lot of storage, and it shouldn't eat into it too much. Now, one thing I do like about this is because you can see right there, energy usage. I have another one of these energy counters right here, and this is this line is supplying energy to this whole facility. So I can actually see what the energy, how much energy it's consuming, and how much energy I'm outputting to make sure that it's not draining my batteries too fast, or my MFEs. So, right now, the system is on, but I do have a little safety switch here to keep it from basically running the electrical engines when basically there's nothing actually being done. And you can see here I've got some diamond gates, and when these tanks are full, it turns the yellow pipe signal on, and this one receives the yellow pipe signal is on, redstone signal, and then it basically will make sure that this redstone torch is off, even if the system is on. So, to go ahead and get the system started, let us go and make some more 10 cells. So, we'll do like 10 of them, which will be 120. That won't be enough to complete get the system totally full, but that's okay, because as you can see, I've got a number of full lava cans in my inventory that I can use to do that. So another thing that I did is the input for my sorting system, which are these chests down here. They actually, if you input empty cells, they'll automatically direct them up here and into this system. Same thing with netherrack. So I have basically this, which chest is it? Okay, it's this chest here. I have this chest here as basically a buffer to store empty cans. And you can see that this blue wire is on. And basically, there is a gate up there that goes to the liquid transposer, and it only turns on, it'll only pull cells when it's empty. And I did this, it's kind of like a Detroit, or an automotive system where it's supply on demand. And you can see there, it's starting to go. And it tries to keep the cells, or the different devices empty. And you can see here, I'm doing the same thing with the netherrack and the cobblestone barrels here. and there's a switch here that directs them to the two different magma crucibles, whatever they're called. That it'll direct them two different ways. But what I kind of like about this system, because as you can see there, it's activating and calling for more netherrack. But what I kind of like about this system is it will never gum up, in the sense that it only calls for netherrack or cobblestone when it's empty, like it is right now. And so what will essentially happen is if it ever runs out of netherrack and there's no more netherrack to be supplied, then it will automatically switch to the cobblestone. And that's handled by this gold switch here, which when there are items in inventory, it turns on the blue pipe signal. And with this one here, if the blue pipe signal is off, it'll only turn on this engine. So that's kind of how I did that. So pretty cool, I think. Here we have our output for all of our centrifuges, and this will be the eventual output for the whole system. As you can see, I've got iron dust, wolframium cells, and so forth and so on. Now, back here, because this liquid transposer is supplying lava cells to all three of these centrifuges, these three on the end, it's actually got a redstone circuit on it, or a logic gate, so that anytime a item passes through here, it'll automatically turn on the redstone current, which will direct different lava cans into one of these three different centrifuges. That way, we should get an even fill across all three of them, which is kind of nice. One benefit of this is that you do not have, like, one issue with Etho system, and I'm not blaming him because, I mean, I didn't know about logic gates until recently, but he constantly has items moving through it. And with this, it's only sending items when there's a need, and you can kind of see it now. Looks like there may be an issue here. What is happening there? Oh, that's why. Let me go get a pipe wrench. I just put that in, and the pipe is redirected the wrong way. Which chest? Since I kind of blew up a lot of my chests out there, I've kind of been going through and trying to figure out what items I lost. Because, yeah, there was a surprising number of... It's like, when I was trying to make some of these extra sensors, some of them require paper, and it was like, oh, I no longer have any paper. There we go. And, let's see, I have my wrench on me. So, I bet I can probably grab these from the front, and I don't have to destroy anything. So let's see if we can do that. Because I'd prefer not to have to take the whole thing apart. Alrighty. There we go. Yeah, when I was initially doing this system, one of the things I ran into, I kept losing lava cells, and I was like, what's happening? And then I realized later, because I initially had, like, these centrifuge displays right above the centrifuges, I realized after looking at it that they were actually redirecting the lava cells into the actual display, and it wasn't showing anything. So let's make sure that this is working properly now. I think it should be. Because, yeah, these displays, they won't show anything is in them if there's extra lava cells. Oh, come on. Well, while we wait on that, any second now, I know as soon as I, like, go around the corner, it's going to send one. But, let's see. It's right now waiting on the magma crucibles to fill it up again. But, okay, we'll go up here. But you can see right now... Wait a minute. Why isn't that working? Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet I know why. Yeah, it wasn't turned on. That would definitely help. Okay, so there we go. I'm like, why isn't it working? There we go. Now it's going to be working. Was very confused for a second. Alright, so now that it's actually turned on, let's see. Okay, so that's filling up with energy. That's filling up with energy. That's filling up with energy. Okay, so that all should be working now. But for some reason, my energy output is not showing. I just finished some of this, so some of it may be a little bit quirky. But, yeah. Huh. That should be working. I'm going to have to take a look at that later. Because I know it works for the centrifuges. Which I can show you here. So you can see, like, this one is empty, so we'll go ahead and put some cells in it. And this one is not totally full, and we'll go ahead and put some cells in this one as well. And you can see there it's using 15 EU per tick to run all three of those. Now that on this counter, I think I have it set at a 5-second measurement. Yeah, 5 seconds. So it's averaging it out over the amount of time. And these redstone engines only turn on when there's items in this inventory. As you can see, there's 3 pyrite dust waiting for a third one to get there to transfer. This type of this system here works on the same principles as these others, where it's only calling for things when it's empty, which actually is a bug. I'm going to have to fix that, because it won't call for any extra. I'll have to take a look at that as well. Again, work in progress, not complete. But for the most part, it's definitely functional. Now we can see that the lava cells are actually making their way down. And you'll see this gate here switch to the different directions. It will not switch up because there is a wood pipe there, and iron pipes will never redirect to a wood pipe. So you'll see here a lava cell goes through. This detects that, and then it'll automatically redirect it a different direction based on that fact. It's not totally perfect, but it works pretty well. You get a pretty good spread between the 3 different centrifuges, which is pretty nice. I'm really confused as to why that energy counter is not showing more output than it is, but I'll have to really look at that. But at the top, you can see the different centrifuges are now operating. So we've got this one is at 21 seconds through 150 seconds, 125 through 2500, etc., etc. And you can see here that our output of our solar array is outputting 61 EU, 66, and hydro array is putting out 24. Now, I don't know how it pulls from the different MFEs, so I'm not totally sure, because I know the hydro array can actually output more than that. It maxes out around 60 or so. So it may be based on demand, or maybe it's the length of the wire. I don't know. But regardless, you can see that our output is definitely exceeding the energy usage, even with the engines that aren't showing up. Because these should be 20 EU each, so that's 60 EU there per tick. And right here you can see we're basically producing about 86, so that's about right if these are using 20. So yeah, that's almost, it's completely covering the energy usage of this system between my hydro array and my solar array. And hence our battery packs are not are not really getting drained, which is pretty nice. I really like having this output because it really helps me, manage things. Now, one thing about these displays, you have to be really careful with the information display extenders, because they will sometimes, like if there was another information display above here, it might cause issues with this one. I haven't completed this wall, obviously, but yeah, it's hopefully will get done soon. Now, back to the efficiency issue. What's cool about this is because these each produce a total of 24 out. Okay. Yeah, that's working. Okay, I was like, is that supposed to be going there? Yes, it is. Okay, since these each put out 24 tin cells, or 10 when they're done, and they require 16 to start, that means for these two, we're producing an extra 8 each, which allows this one to operate. So really, the only one that is actually producing extra 10 is this one on the end, because these other two, the extra 10 they're producing, goes directly to this one to produce more tin cells. So it takes 3 centrifuges to produce enough 10 to have an 8 tin surplus. And with Etho's system, because it requires 32 to start and it produces 8, you need 5 of these to operate a complete closed loop system. You can see here that any excess tin is going to go to this crafting table, which is an auto crafting table, and will automatically send the extra 10 cells into this compartment here, where they will then be ready for the system. How I managed to, because 24 is, you have to split it by a third. So what I did for that is I did the same type of system I did over here with the iron pipe here. And the trick with iron pipes, by the way, in case you're not familiar with them, the trick with iron pipes, so let's say we have some stone transport pipe, and we have an iron pipe, and we will need some wood pipes. Okay. So let's say we wanted to have a pipe right here. Okay. There we go. So let's say we wanted to have a pipe right here, and we have our input here, and we need a wood pipe here, and we'd want that pipe right there. Now, we want to split it, like, let's say, 2 different directions. I'll just use an iron gate for this, since this is just a test. And so that we can feed stuff into the system, let's grab some obsidian pipe. There we go. Alright, so we would want this iron pipe, when something is traversing it, we want it to submit a redstone signal. And we'll put 2 pipes here. And then we'll put our obsidian pipe here. Now, if you just had this sitting like this, and you fed something into it, and let's go ahead and redirect it with a wrench. So let's say its normal output is that. And we now want it to redirect something when it comes this way. Now, one thing I found is you can't have items going too fast. Hence, I don't use a lot of gold pipes. But let's just go ahead and throw this in. You can see it comes through. And you saw it light up, but nothing happened. And why did nothing happen? Well, this is something that I found out, like, the hard way after, like, why isn't this working? Lots of yelling at the system and so forth and so on. You have to have a block right next to this for it to work. It doesn't work unless there's a block there. So, if I pull out my dirt, and now I throw it, you'll now see it actually redirects. Now, you saw there, it was a little bit too slow for the system. So what I usually do is I will use like iron gates, and then we'll use some red pipe wire, and we will do it this way. So if items are traversing, it'll turn on a redstone signal, and or if there is the red pipe wire on, and then we set this one so that if items are traversing it, it'll submit a redstone signal. And so now, when it goes through, it does the same stupid thing. It's probably that one. So let's turn that one off. It's just a little bit too slow. So let's... By the way, you can take things off by crouching. So let's put it there. Oh, and I have to... Before you can tell it to submit a pipe signal, you have to do it like that. So let's see. Items traversing, red pipe signal. You do have to play with it a little bit to get the timing right. But let's see. There we go. And you can see there it'll actually redirect. So that's basically how I have my system set up. I do actually have it set up closer though, because I found that it actually helps with produce better random results, because I want it to go to one of the 3 different pipes, basically equally. Now, as you can see there, it's kind of a when you do that, it only it only changes it for a second. So what I did below here to prevent that from happening, and I will use my silk touch for this, and hopefully I will not break anything. There we go. You can see here I have this is an RS NOR latch, and basically my fear with this system was that it would automatically this is for when it calls for like redstone, or not redstone, for like netherrack or cobblestone. And my fear was like one would activate and then the other would activate, and so it would then not it would then only redirect stone to the other, because the other signal overrode it. So for this, as you can see, I've got a clock running essentially. And what this does is whenever a pipe calls for a piece of cobblestone or netherrack, it'll cycle this clock, which will switch the RS NOR latch right here, and it will basically call for the redirect the track or the pipe to that direction. So you can see here it's facing this way because the RS NOR latch is off, and then when it calls for it again, you can see there it redirects. And how I have this set up is I have a gold switch here and an iron switch there, and they submit a redstone signal, which turns on the clock and swaps the RS NOR latch. And then I have another gate here on this wood pipe that will never receive an item, because it's an iron gate will never send to a wood pipe, and it detects if there's a redstone signal on, and if there's a redstone signal on, it will automatically light this red wire up, which tells it to send more cobblestone or netherrack. Another thing that I did differently, I forget which one Etho was talking about using originally, but I use an igneous extractor here. Now, or extruder, sorry. What's really cool about this is it's a low lag system. It works just like a cobblestone generator, i.e. it does not require, I can actually fill this in, does not require any power. It just requires a redstone current. And it's, like I said, designed to be a low lag system. So you just fill it up once with lava and water. And now for stone and cobblestone, it actually does require, it'll consume lava. But for stone and obsidian. Stone and obsidian. There we go. I can speak today, I promise. But you can see here, it doesn't use any of the water or any of the lava, just like in a normal cobblestone generator. And basically I have this set up so that as long, and I'm always afraid to click on these things. If I have something in my hand, I'm always afraid I'm going to break them. But if there's space in the inventory, it will turn on a red pipe signal. And up there I have another pipe that you can barely see. That if the red pipe signal was on, it will turn a redstone signal on, which then, of course, causes that igneous extruder to produce cobblestone for the system, and it fills the barrel. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Like I said, it's completely, it's a completely closed system. So essentially, what this, like even if we run out of netherrack, you can sit in this system and go AFK, and it'll keep producing tin for you the whole time, because all of the energy production for this facility is passive. I don't have to do anything to maintain it. The solar cells, which I guess I can show you those real quickly. When I originally built this base, I was going to try to work with the more natural aesthetic of the jungle that I'm in, but due to the recent nuclear explosion, that idea kind of went up in smoke, quite literally. So yeah, you can see here's our average counter, and it's outputting 61 EU per tick, and our MFEs are down there. One thing, by the way, just a warning, like with this, I had to put 2 transformer upgrades for it to be able to measure the full output, because sometimes because the solar cells will store energy, and all of them would output at once, and this wasn't able to measure it. It would max out at 32. This maxes out at, with one, it'll max out at 128, and with this, it'll max out at 512. But if you max it out at 512, you have to have a transformer down here. Otherwise, it will cause your MFEs to explode. I have learned this from experience, unfortunately. So we're going to go up here, and you can see I ran diamond wire all the way down here. And alright, come on, keep going, keep going. You can see up here where it's raining, of course. Here is our little solar array. I haven't converted all of these out because, well, it's very expensive to make these advanced solar panels. But regardless, I'm going to eventually surround this all with leaves. Ignore that over there. That's a work in progress. But yeah, it's all surrounded with leaves and everything. So I kind of want to keep with the natural aesthetic. So I just widened out the tree a bit. And it's, again, it was supposed to be one of those things where you couldn't really tell where the base was, but because I had to patch the giant hole that suddenly appeared in the back of my base with a radiation cloud around it, yeah, that kind of, threw off that plan. So we're going to go down here. And yeah, it's, like I said, the system seems to be pretty functional. There's a few bugs in it that I'm going to have to work out. Like, I still don't understand why it's not giving me a proper readout for this system. And it's, again, filled with pyrite dust. Maybe I should do that one if there's space in inventory. The problem is if it's going to send items, it will, if it sends items and there's, let's say it's, it uses 3 and there are 61 left in the supply, these engines pump a little bit too fast, and what will end up is a couple extra will end up getting sent, and then they won't ever, they'll just sit there. And I'm trying to make it so that I don't lose anything in the system, but I may have to work with this a bit. With these, you can see I only have the redstone signal on if the engine is blue. That's partially to slow down the output, so that to make sure that it doesn't screw with the system too much. Because a lot of times if it sends too many items too quickly, it will cause a lot of problems, because the pipes won't work properly, and things like that. So I intentionally slow things down that way. But I may need to take a look at how I'm doing that, just to get it to work a little bit better. Obviously, I only have this system half functional, in the sense that it's only these 3 centrifuges that are currently set up, and this one is purely for pyrite dust. Now, for the refinement, for refining the iron into iron bars, that will be done automatically by my sorting system down here. I have a setup down here, as you can see, that will actually, it goes through, comes into the system, goes through these pipes, and everything that I don't have labeled is bauxite currently. But yeah, it, you know, like you get iron dust gets sent over into this pipe, and then it will, this pipe, it'll put iron ore into these chests, and then if it's iron dust, it'll already go ahead and go into this chest, which is then pulled into this induction furnace. One other little trick I've learned playing with this mod, you can see here I have macerators. I like the rotary macerators a lot better, but for whatever reason, in automated systems like this, the rotary macerators for me gave a lot of issues. They actually caused the server to crash. So I had to go back to the macerators, and you can see I have those 4 overclockers on those to kind of make up for the difference in speed. I contacted the people at Feed the Beast, the support team, and they say it's a known issue with the advanced machines mod. So if you're doing this on a server or something, you may want to be avoid rotary macerators in automated systems, because otherwise they will definitely cause issues for you. Because you can see here, that's what I have here for when I'm just doing things. Obviously, this is just a temporary setup. I'm eventually going to make this kind of like a lab area, which kind of goes with my whole buck tooth, my whole kind of mad scientist skin that I came up with. Mad Scientist Steve. But yeah, it's I eventually want to kind of set this up more as a lab area, but for right now, it's it looks like a whole bunch of like washing machines or, you know, ovens or something. Looks like I'm at like a home appliance store. But yeah. Anyways, that's really all I had to show today. I'm really happy with this system. I love having the displays up here. Like, I can instantly look at this, and I know exactly what's happening with all of my energy production and all of my energy storage. And yeah, it's really, I love this system. And you know, again, I didn't even think about doing this. I didn't even know this ability or this option existed until Etho showed it. So I really appreciate him sharing what he's been working on. And, you know, this is just me kind of taking some of the things that he's done and taking them a little bit further, and maybe taking some of the knowledge I have and experience in the mod that I have, and figuring out how to do it for myself. So, you know, again, I hope this isn't taken as me like trying to one-up Etho, because it's not really that. I mean, there are so many things in this mod, it is impossible to know everything. So it's one of those things where it becomes a little bit of a community effort, because you know, one person may know how to use these types of systems, and, you know, another person may know how to do this or that. It ends up being a community effort trying to figure out the best way to do different things in this mod pack. So, once again, this is Andrew and Price, thanking you for watching this video. Hopefully you found it interesting, entertaining, etc., etc. And, you know, I will hopefully output some more stuff in the future as I come up with things that I want to share. So, thanks once again for watching, and good night, and good gaming. Bye!